worst decisions on my Mounjaro weight loss and what I regret from my 79-pound weight loss journey on Mounjaro weight loss. Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Freddie. We've got new treats today. They're Valentine's Day flavored. I'll link them in the description link below. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I have been on, by the way, these have bees on them. Are they not the cutest? So cute. I bought these, by the way. They're not small. I wanted some new treats for Mr. Freddie. So I have been on Mounjaro 15 milligrams the last year, and I have some of the worst decisions I've made. And I want to share them with you, hopefully as encouragement, strength, and hope. I'm not a doctor, nor do I pretend to play a healthcare professional on the internet. I will always punch you back over to your own medical healthcare professional. But these are what have worked well for me. Let's go ahead and dive in, or what's not worked well for me, and hopefully will help you on your Mounjaro weight loss journey, Zepbound weight loss journey, tirzepatide weight loss journey. Let's dive in. Tip number one, of what I regret that I wish I had done earlier on my Mounjaro weight loss journey. Now, I've been on Mounjaro 15 milligrams the last 2 or 3 months, and I didn't know. And now hopefully you'll know, so you can talk about it with your healthcare provider. I did not take into account rotating my shot injection as seriously as I do now, and the time of day in which I take my Mounjaro injection. How much for me that, for my health and wellness, has made a huge difference. A huge difference in my weight loss journey, my appetite suppression, and I've done multiple videos. You can see down in the Countess of Shopping playlist down below. I have over 150 videos on Mounjaro weight loss and Zepbound weight loss. What a big, big difference it's made for me by simply just changing the times in which, I do my injection. It was made, and one of the things that I regret, and I think one of the worst decisions, is that I didn't play with the time of day in which I took my injections, and that I also didn't change the rotation injection. I was so petrified to do the back of my arm that I didn't do it up until a couple months ago. And it's been such a major, major, major difference for me in appetite suppression and weight loss, to be honest. And I've done other videos on it, so I don't want to touch too much on it, but I regret that I was so afraid. I was so afraid to change those up. And so I want to encourage you, talk to your healthcare provider, but for me, doing the alternating rotation and learning, that's tip number 2 that I regret. I have a free printable down in the description link below, as is all my resources. I have a free blog. It's called countessofshopping.com. It has 50 plus articles on Mounjaro weight loss and Zepbound weight loss, all free tips to help you, encourage you. I'm not a healthcare professional, simply my experience, strength, and hope, but hopefully give you ideas on recipes and what's worked well for me with protein and things like that. But I have a free tracker. It's a printable. I regret that I didn't track even more in depth to what I did about my shot time, the location in which I did my shot, the milligrams that I was on. Is it Mounjaro 2.5 milligrams, Mounjaro 7.5 milligrams? Where am I from? 2.5 milligrams is the Mounjaro beginning dose, all the way up to Mounjaro 15 milligrams, which is that's the highest you can go. That's the ceiling. That's the largest dose of Mounjaro. I wish I had kept better records of my side effects, how I was feeling, appetite suppression. It would be very beneficial. Mr. Freddie's getting a drink of water. He's a very difficult talent, by the way. He's very difficult. It would be more helpful now to know those specifics for pattern recognition. And I've done other videos on, and if you guys don't know this is tip number 3 of what I regret and worst decision. I didn't know until recently, until in my free encouragement group, which there's thousands of us. This group is hotter than hot. I'll link it down in the description link below. Free encouragement group for Mounjaro weight loss, Zepbound weight loss. If you're on Wegovy or Ozempic or tirzepatide, semaglutide weight loss, all are welcome at that table. I'll link it down below. Just make sure you answer all the questions. And if you do have a profile less than 5 years old on Facebook, it gets flagged as spam. So you can email me always and be like, hey, I've applied to be in the group and I'm not in. Just let me know. But in that group, someone brought up, hey, Elizabeth, did you know that one of the Eli Lilly tells us that each time you titrate up, if you're taking an oral birth control, you should need an alternative method of birth control? Let me close my mouth. And I knew, and we've talked about this before in other videos, over the last year, you can see 150 videos here on Mounjaro weight loss and Zepbound weight loss. I knew that obviously with the delay in gastric emptying, that's going to affect medications. It just makes sense that delay in gastric emptying is going to mess it. If you're taking oral birth control, Eli Lilly does very much tell us, hey, you need an alternative form of birth control if you're on an oral contraceptive. That I regret not knowing that information and not sharing that information. So thank you if you were that group member who said that. We've had conversations, but someone like literally put it in my face and was like, hey, for people and women in reproductive years, you may want to, and I'm in my 40s and still like, just FYI, ladies, you need an alternative every time you titrate up. So 2.5 milligrams, you go up to 5 milligrams. Eli Lilly tells us for 4 weeks using an alternative form of birth control. If you're on it all, I regret not sharing that earlier. And that's why my group I love so much. I'm fiercely protective of it too. No spammers, no bad, like I'm fiercely protective of that group and I love it so much. So if you're a member of that group, thank you, I love you. Okay, let's go to the next one. I regret tip number 4, that I didn't make lifestyle changes earlier. Because this, Eli Lilly tells us, it's for permanent lifestyle changes. We need to change our diet and we need to change our physical activity, bottom line, period. And I do now. I walked with Mr. Freddie. I walked 2 to 3. Oh, you can see all my crap in the background. Sorry, guys. Excuse all my junk in the background. I was doing a photo shoot earlier, so excuse my stuff. I regret that I didn't, and I had a laser thing, so ignore my face too. I'm like super self-conscious about it. There's like scabs all over my face. Excuse my face. I regret that I didn't make lifestyle changes earlier, but giving myself the grace, I did the very best I could with the information that I had. I did the best I could. But I wish that I had started walking, as now I walk 2 to 3 miles per day, pretty much a non-negotiable, at least one, if not more, with Mr. Freddie. Mr. Freddie! I think he found like a squirrel or something he's looking at out the window over there. But I regret that I didn't change my diet earlier. But I also, then the other flip side of this, it's taken what it's taken to get me to this point. I had to heal my relationship with food. Has taken a long time, decades to unpack, decades to do. Over the last year, it's not going to take a year to unpack that. Giving myself so much extra grace that I did the best I could with what I had. However, I can look back and see at the beginning on Mounjaro 2.5 milligrams and Mounjaro 5 milligrams, it was so easy. So easy, the weight was just melting off. It was easy. It's not as easy as it was. And we've talked about this before in other videos of, I'm like, Mounjaro's not working. Well, it's not that Mounjaro's not working. My body's fighting back against it. I've lost almost 80 pounds. Technically with my BMI, still, if I'm brutally honest, I need to lose 125 pounds. So I have, another 45 more to go. I'm down 5 pant sizes, which is amazing. Like, it's amazing. And I did the best I could over the past year, but I wish I had been more focused in on it. But then the other part of me is like, to get to where I am, I really feel like I've done the best I could. And part of that too, and I share with the unhealthy relationship with food, is working with a psychiatrist, working with a therapist to unpack a lot of trauma that I've had associated with food and my body and things like that. And I know a lot of you guys can relate, keeping this, sharing in a general way about this, but there was some drama associated that I thought I had dealt with, and I have dealt with. But there was more. More will be revealed. As the weight came off, it triggered me that I needed some additional outside help, which has been very, very, very helpful for me to heal these things, right? And to move on to the next level of evolution with my body and on this journey. And I want to encourage you too that there's no shame in that either, of talking. I talk with a spiritual advisor every week, talk with a therapist. I mean, I have a team. Avengers Assemble. I've assembled a team of people to help me on this weight loss journey, which has been really, really beneficial. Let's go to the next one. Eating fried food. I touched on this, but I want to talk more in depth about it. It was easy to lose weight on Mounjaro 2.5 and Mounjaro 5 milligrams. Easier, I should say. It wasn't like easy, but it was easier than it is now. Now I'm like super intentional and focused about it, whereas I could eat a bunch of crap still and get away with it because of the appetite suppression, that I could still make up for it. And so having like fried food and things like that, I don't deprive myself now. Like my family, for example, they got crumble. With that crumble cookie, y'all, the cookies are 1,000 calories per cookie, which, by the way, P.S., I probably back in the day would have eaten 3 or 4 of them in one day. We've gotten it actually a couple times. And the cookie, they're 1,000 calories. And I'll take a pizza slicer and cut a little pizza slice of that cookie. And then I'll have that over like 5 days. And it's amazing. It's like this great 200 calorie, amazing, fabulous treat. One week I actually froze my cookie and I saved the other half of the big cookie for later. And so it was like 100 or 200 calorie, amazing treat. Not every day would I have it, but like It was so awesome. And I felt normal, air quote. And there's no such thing as normal. Normal is a dishwasher setting or a washing machine setting. There's no such thing as normal. But I was like, oh, that's probably what healthy, normal people do, of where they're like, I'm full, or I had a taste, or I had a treat, and I'm done. My sister, for example, we can go out to eat and she'll put her fork down and be like, I'm done, I'm full. I don't have that relationship with food. For me, it is very much still, even after a year, mental gymnastics of like checking in with my head. I feel like it's literally this, ping, 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 like it's pinging, like I'm checking with my head to my body, of that there has been so much disassociation with food, and now healing that relationship with food, I am in tune with my body. And even with Mounjaro side effects, which we know, and that's tip number 7, is welcoming Mounjaro side effects. Now, I give the caveat of there's some severe side effects that Eli Lilly tells us about Mounjaro weight loss and with Zepbound weight loss. There's some gnarly ones. For example, if you have a hereditary thyroid cancer one, there's a black box warning on that. There can be pancreatitis, appendicitis. If you're having severe pains, that is not normal. Severe pain is not normal. Talk to your healthcare provider immediately. Learn about those severe side effects. I'm not going to talk about it in today's video, but please learn about the severe Mounjaro side effects. They can be gnarly, and they tell us. But that's also, a very small percentage. And if you factor in hundreds of thousands of people taking this medication, and 1% of hundreds of thousands, how many people that is, I'm trying to do my math skills on the fly right now, but if 100,000 people, for example, for easy math, that's 1,000 people. If it was 1%, I don't know if that's what it is. But you can check, and I'll link down the resource down below for you to go through. Like, that's still 1,000 people. I'm saying if it was 1%. So just doing general math on that. You see what I'm saying? Like, doing general math, but the real point that I'm trying to make is about common side effects. Gastrointestinal stuff is totally normal on Mounjaro. Totally, totally normal. Gastrointestinal side effects of having diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, and constipation. Most people have constipation, I see in the free group. And I've got an article linked down below on constipation, so don't fret my pet, I've got some resources for you. I have not vomited as one of my gastrointestinal ones. I definitely have had nausea a ton on Mounjaro, 15 milligrams. I had never had nausea on Mounjaro until this dose. There's no more doses after this, but which is also an interesting side effect. If you're like, why does it stop at 15 milligrams? Excuse me. Other clinical trials have been done about, like on 15 milligrams of having these side effects of higher doses. Can you just imagine, like just think about it for a second, what those gastrointestinal side effects would be? Like if you're having diarrhea right now, like think of it if there was like a Mounjaro 17.5 milligram. I just think about that sometimes and I'm like, that would be explosive. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Explosive diarrhea. No, thank you. We'll pass. We'll swipe. So let's get back to our task at hand. Talking about decisions, the things that I regret, worst decisions, was welcoming side effects, of being armed with knowledge, of knowing what the severe ones are, but welcoming the gastrointestinal ones because I have solutions to combat them now. I wish I had, I guess part of that too, again, I go back to is experience of just doing this has been super important, of just being on Mounjaro is what I've learned. And hopefully me sharing my experience, strength, and hope, my whole intention of this whole Countess of Shopping thing is to help encourage you, to help you. Hopefully you can learn from some of my mistakes and some of the things that have gone well for me for your own particular weight loss journey, and provide some encouragement and be a source of positivity and light. It's my whole intention, hopefully. Hopefully I'm doing that today. But going back over to those side effects, welcoming those, because for me, when I have side effects, I lose the most weight that week. Yep, it's true. When you see these big drops for me, it's because usually I've had some sort of side effect to go with it too. Those papers are driving me nuts. I'm an executive producer for a project, and it's driving me nuts. They're sitting on the floor, not in my office right now, but I digress. Having those side effects and dealing with them. For example, I'm going to be flying out as an executive producer for a project that I do. So like, this is not my main job. Like my other job is I own a marketing firm. So one of my clients is flying me out, and in a couple of weeks, and I'll be taking my shot during that time. And I've talked about Mounjaro Travel. I have a whole video on that. You can see that in the playlist, in the Mounjaro playlist below. But I don't want to be nauseous. And I had a shoot literally 2 days ago, this weekend. I did not want, I was supposed to take my shot Friday night or Friday morning, because I've switched to morning time. And I didn't take it until Saturday after my shoot. Why? Because I didn't want to be sick. People are paying me a lot of money to be excellent at what I do. And I didn't want to be nauseous and I didn't want to be tired. That's the other thing. Talked about the fatigue and the tiredness. And so I don't regret making these, like, I don't regret that I changed my shot date on that. I've talked with my healthcare provider about it. If you're going to change your shot date, you need to talk to your healthcare provider about it too. But for me, changing that was important because I want to show up for my life. Mounjaro is giving me my life back. And so I gotta, being thoughtful and being mindful about my schedule too. And so that's taken some more planning of that. I don't regret though, changing that, but I do regret that I didn't welcome previously the side effects of just knowing, like, I just know, and my family knows too. Now my husband knows. I'm like, babe, I took my shot in the last 24 hours. I'm tired. I am fatigued. And allowing myself grace, kindness, and compassion to go take a nap or to go to bed early. It's just kind of my thing now. And I don't make apologies about it to my family either. I make up for it on the back end in other ways of helping my family. And you know, my most important title out of all my titles is being the best mom and the best wife I can be. And if I'm tired one of those days, or sometimes 2 nights in a row, giving myself grace and telling my family and setting up their expectations and being like, hey, I'm gonna need grace on this day, but on the other day, I'm gonna make it up for you. I'll do extra X, Y, and Z for the family. So that's taken a little bit of just going through the process to see what my body does. I do regret that I didn't track better to see better trends. And that's what I wanna encourage you. Use my free printable in the description link below. Monitor what dose you're on, where you moved your shot, where you rotated that shot. Monitor with that, how did you feel? Your appetite suppression. How was your mood? Were you like, just details and data of it for you, because everybody's body is different. So you can learn your own patterns, which one of my giftings is pattern recognition. I can pick up on patterns easily, which is why you're gonna wanna stay, because we're gonna do a pattern recognition thing here in a minute till the end. But one of my big things is I wish I had, and I regret that I kept notes, but even more in-depth notes. So feel free to use my printable tracker for you. Very helpful to refer back. Because it's been a year. I'm not gonna remember, what did I do March 31st of 2023? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna remember that. And so having that data more data would be helpful now, because I can refer back to what previously happened. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again, just because I've had one side effect on one dose doesn't mean I'm not gonna have a different side effect on a different dose. That's been my experience. It keeps you on your toes. And so this nausea thing has kind of thrown me for a loop on Mounjaro 15 milligrams. I thought I had skated by. I don't like being nauseous. With all of my pregnancies, I've always gotten really bad nausea, and I don't like being nauseous at all. I don't like it. I don't like it. So this has been interesting. And if you guys haven't seen my what I eat in a day videos of some of the things that I do to combat nausea, like my ginger water is one of them. And my electrolytes is really, really helpful, and a couple of those other things. One of my other regrets is I wish I had been I've switched my daily multivitamin. I switched it to one, and I'll link it down below, that has probiotics and prebiotics in it because of the side effects, which probiotics and prebiotics help with gastrointestinal stuff. I wish I had taken that sooner. I had learned through many of you guys, which I love, the free encouragement group, the Mounjaro Weight Loss Encouragement Group and Zepbound Encouragement Group, which is linked in the description, about bariatric patients or people who had gastric bypass, about the nutrient deficiency. And for me, really taking that of, okay, that was for that subset of people, that was a challenge of the nutrient deficiency because they're not eating a lot. I'm not eating a lot. I'm sure that's probably gonna be very similar if I'm getting enough nutrients in, and being more serious about taking my daily vitamin. I love, it's called GEM. I'll link it down below. They've given us a discounted link. Use the code QUEEN in capital letters and you get extra discount as well. I wish I had taken that earlier. I wish I had taken that earlier too. So, but these regrets, I put in air quotes, and worse decisions are gotten me to the point of where I am. I do think that people need to be very armed and knowledgeable and very well educated before taking Mounjaro, before taking Zepbound. For me, it was posed to me by my doctor that I'll be on it the rest of my life. That's simply my experience, strength, and hope of how one would with like heart medication or with some other things where you take it your whole life. That's basically what a GLP-1 is for me. I'm not to maintenance yet. We've had that conversation here. I'm not there yet. But when I do get there, obviously that'll be a part of that of, okay, do I alter the shot? Like, what do you do for maintenance? I'm not there yet. I'm still on my journey. My BMI is still technically obese, which makes me mental because I've lost so much weight. But I realistically have to get to 125 pounds down, which is interesting because Eli Lilly tells us that we'll lose 26% in clinical trials of our body weight, and I'm at the 25% mark right now. So it will be interesting. Now, this is why making those permanent lifestyle changes, I got to keep going because the drug's taken me to where it said it was going to. It's done what it said it was going to do. Woo! But to get to this next phase for me not to be obese, still technically by my BMI, and there's a lot of conversation too on BMI, which that's a whole topic for another day, but I can tell. I'm 5 pant sizes down from starting, which is amazing, and like 5 jumps or whatever in pant sizes, and I still have a little weight. I carry most of my weight in my hips, and so there's still more to go with this. So I feel like I've done the best I could, I still have a ways to go, and continuing to heal my relationship with food. I don't regret or feel like these were worse decisions. I did the best I could. In hindsight, looking back, I'm like, I was like a little wounded bird. And would I be mean or chastise a wounded bird? No. I still feel like I'm not fully ready to be an eagle. I'm almost there though. I'm almost there and I'm getting there. But it's been so helpful because it's giving me a fair playing field, so to speak, of what normal, air quote, people would experience with food. It's like, oh, that's what full feels like. Oh, okay, I'm eating past the point of where I should be. Like, things like that are so important. Now, one of the things I've had to learn also is about protein. I have 100 to 120 grams of protein per day. On day 1 and day 2, I'm not hitting that goal. Just people keep asking, I don't hit that goal. I'm not gonna force feed myself. There's varying opinions on that. That is what feels natural for me. Will that change in the future? Maybe. But I feel like it's counterintuitive if I'm taking medication that has appetite suppression. I'm not gonna make myself eat to hit a protein goal. I'm going to hit the protein goals on other days when I'm like on day 6 and day 7. Yes, queen, I'm gonna hit that. But superfluously just eating to eat, it seems like I go back to, well, what would my ancestors do? You know what I mean? My ancestors wouldn't be on GLP-1 medications. Like, what a gift that this is. But they also wouldn't force feed themselves if they're not hungry. And so if I'm not hungry on day 1 and day 2 of my shot, I'm not going to make myself eat. That is my opinion. And I know there's so many varying opinions on that. When I do eat on those days, it is a high protein focus. I did not have high protein focus when I was on Mounjaro 2.5 milligrams, Mounjaro 5 milligrams. It really hasn't been a high protein focus until Mounjaro 7.5 milligrams. When it started to dawn on, I mean, I was, because I eat a low carb diet. I don't do keto anymore. I cannot do that high fat. I think I've recorded this video twice because there was a tech issue. So if I've already, my date night story, forgive me, but I don't eat high fat foods anymore. No, I mean, I love a steak. I love a good ribeye, and I love a good ribeye. I used to do keto if you guys saw those videos. So I went on a date night with a count, my hot husband, my stomach had a gastrointestinal issue, and it was from Mounjaro. I could not process that ribeye. I'm like, we gotta go. So I do kind of regret that. I mean, I had to learn that I can't eat, I'll eat a ribeye now, just very, very small quantity. My body cannot handle high fat like that, like it used to. It does not. With Mounjaro, it's like, no ma'am, Pam, no, we will not. So I can have that just in much smaller quantities. And same thing, I had to go through it to learn it, so maybe that's not a bad thing that I regret because I needed to learn the lesson of that's my body. And so I encourage you to test and talk with your healthcare provider. Again, this is not medical advice. I want to always punch you back to your healthcare provider. There's so many amazing healthcare providers. My favorite telehealth company is linked in the description link below. I do have a discount code with Queen, capital letters Queen. If you need a telehealth company, they prescribe both name brands like Mounjaro, Wegovy, Ozempic, Zepbound, and compounds like semaglutide and tirzepatide. So they do both. To my knowledge, they're the only telehealth company that prescribes both, and they're awesome. The compound pharmacies they work with are third-party tested. It's great stuff. So I hope today's video was helpful for you. We do a little thing here at Countess of Shopping where, speaking of pattern recognition, it helps me to get to know you better. There's thousands of you. There's one of me. And if you've reached this point in the video, put a bow, the emoji of a bow, or you can type in bow if you're not near emojis, if you're on your computer. Type in bow. By the way, I'll link this down in the description link below. They're on trend now, apparently, the trending big bows. And it was like $6 or $7. They're not expensive. They're super cute too. I have it in black. They're fun. Anyways, today's emoji is going to be a bow. Put it in the comments below. I will pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I will uplift you in positive thoughts. It is a way to help do positivity. 1, 2, if you've made it this far, you kind of might like my content. So make sure you click that like and subscribe button. And then 3, it will help me to get to know you better with that pattern recognition. Seeing people's YouTube handles over and over and over again, I will get to know you better. And because I really do care. I really sincerely, the whole point of this whole thing is encouragement and light and positivity, and hopefully that's what I did in today's video. I hope so. And hopefully Mr. Freddie, where'd that guy go? We filmed this earlier and there was a massive audio issue. It was like buzzing and the account was like, you can't release that. And I was like, I'm not gonna put people through buzzing. But the dog licked this spot. Is not a pee spot. It's actually the dog was licking the treats from earlier in the first video of this exact same video that we did today. So there you go. If you want these treats, I will link them down below too. He seemed to like them. Bochi. Have you guys seen Daniel Tiger? Bochi. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not. But they're Valentine's Day ones. I thought they were so cute. What else we're gonna talk about? Free resources for you too. My Mounjaro weight loss success checklist in the description link below. The side effect tracker is in the description link below. Go to countessofshopping.com. On my blog, 50+ articles and recipes and hopeful tips that all revolve around my favorite walking shoes, like if you're getting into physical activity, favorite walking shoes for an overweight woman. Like I've tested a bunch of them from walking now the dog 2 to 3 miles per day. I don't regret getting on Mounjaro at all. It's changed my life. And I always get really embarrassed about like being emotional, but it's changed my life. Like I get so embarrassed. I hate crying on camera, but I feel like it's like, this is what I'm feeling. I'm so grateful. I'm like so grateful for my life. Mounjaro's giving me my life back. For my son and my husband. And those are my most important things, is being a good mom and a good wife. I do a lot of stuff with my business and I've been blessed to be a serial entrepreneur, but having my life back, good mom and a good wife, it matters so much. And I've done everything. I've been on Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers and Atkins and you name it, I've done it in terms of diets. And until Mounjaro, I didn't have a fighting chance to do it. I would do it for a little bit and then all the weight would come back. Over decades of my life. This has been since I was on a diet, since I was like 8 or 9 or 10 years old. And so now to be like, oh my gosh, I'm 79 pounds down. I'm walking 2 to 3 miles per day. I'm 5 pant sizes down. I feel good about myself. Like, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. So today's video about worst decisions or regrets, I don't. Like, I know that there's very serious side effects with Mounjaro, which is why we need to educate. I need to get it together. Which is why we need to educate ourselves on the serious side effects, like serious pains, appendicitis, pancreatitis. There's a lot of others too. Educate yourself. So knowing those, but thank God I haven't been one of those people, but knowing those, what they are, I'm so grateful that I made it this far on my journey. So, and I'm cheering you on. Join the free encouragement group. That is a great source of encouragement too, if you're needing encouragement. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Gonna go dry my eyes. Count my blessings because life is delicious. I love y'all. See you on the next